Hello, this is ArcNet Content Manager Michael Toller once again on our development server to give you a look at the group search function that is already available on ArcNet. Let's look at why one might want to use this feature. So here I've conducted a search. It's a variation of the searches in our previous video where I wanted to find military or religious sites of Umayyad Aleppo. So this is a rather limited search, so it's more limited than what we might usually use the group search for, but it does give us a very clear example, and then I'll show you some more complicated examples. Now, if I conduct this search, which I've already done, so we'll just hit we'll do it. Okay, and you will see that I get sites that are in Cairo, Iraq, etc. So we have Cairo, we have Turkey, we have Lebanon, etc. So this is imprecise, and that's because these records all contain the words Aleppo and Umayyad somewhere. So how do I narrow this down? We talked about how you could narrow it down doing Syria, and that would get you sites only in Syria, but it's still going to show you your interest in Aleppo, and it's still going to show you Bursa and perhaps other cities as well. No, just the one in Bursa. So if I wanted to narrow this down or do this very precisely, I might use the group search. Now, when you use the group search, you're going to find that your search is cleared and you have to start over again. And that's because of the grouping. The grouping is actually rather complex and requires a bit of forethought. But if you have complex searches to do, it can be very useful. So we're interested in rolling this out and hearing your feedback on it. So let's say that I wanted to find Umayyad sites in Aleppo that are either military or religious. The way that I would do it is I want to apply these rules to everything. So Aleppo, city includes Aleppo, style period includes Umayyad, right down here. And then I want to add a group because I need OR logic, and you can't combine and OR logic without doing a grouping so that the search engine knows what applies to what. So it is going to find me terms that where Aleppo applies, Umayyad applies, and this group applies, but this group is going to be separated by an OR. So I'll add religious. I'll change that logic to OR, and I will add military. Conduct my search. And again, you can add, so I have one military site and one religious site. And again, you can add any of these additional filters that you wish. Because you've done a city, you don't really need a geo filter, but you could add any of those filters that you wish. Now let's look at some other uses of this. Let's say that I've conducted this search and I actually want to find Umayyad sites that are religious or military throughout Syria. Simply delete this rule, add Syria here, and reconduct the search. And I will get more sites, but not the site outside of Syria. So I have Bursa, Damascus, Hamma, Raqqa, and Aleppo. Now let's look at a completely different use of that search. Let's say that I want to find photographs of Morocco. So the first thing I'll do is select Morocco on the map. I can either zoom and click, or I can simply type. That are by 3 different photographers focusing on 3 different cities. This is where group search would be extremely useful. So the interface is a bit difficult, so you really have to think this through in advance. I want to find photos by a certain photographer of a certain city. So that's an and search. And I want to find them for multiple photographers. So I need to create three groups. There are three photographers I'm interested in. The first group is photographs by Powell, and I'm interested in Marrakesh. Oops, not that would not be the associated name. That would be Powell. And I'm interested in and Marrakesh. Now I want to create a new group, not within this group, which I could also do, but a separate group. And I want OR logic applied because I also want to find the photographs by Rashid Adnani that are of Rabat. And finally, I want to create a third group, again applying the OR search because all of these will apply. And this is going to be photos by Paul Servant that are not photos of Tangier. So I can do city excludes. My search is all set up to find any of these sets of photos. And you'll see when this is done that we have photos of Paul Servant from Asila, Chefchaouen, Meknes, photos by Josephine Powell of Marrakesh, and if we continue scrolling through those, at the bottom we will get photos by Rashid Adnani So there you have your advanced or your grouped search. Other ways to do this would be if you wanted to find, let's clear all, if you wanted to find a certain type of building built by a certain dynasty, or buildings of another type built by a different dynasty. Or you could actually include a city or any other category. So there you have the grouped search. This is a new feature. It's a complicated interface, so we're interested in your feedback and whether or not you find this useful.